Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Success Funnel Interviews. And today we've got someone exciting on, and he's a marketing conversion specialist and also a 2 Comma Club winner, and someone I'm excited to pick their brain and just give you guys some golden nuggets to learn from. And please will you welcome Dwayne Roberts. And Dwayne, could you please share something you believe online entrepreneurs should stop doing in order to grow their business to the next level?
Absolutely. The number one key advice I can give is that you have to go 100% all in. Now, in order to take that jump and that leap of faith, it does require that sometimes that you jump and you grow your wings on the way down. And it's very important because I've been an entrepreneur since I was 18 years old. And I would love to say that I've always had great success. I've had my fair share of failures, probably more than my fair share of failures. But the one thing that you have to do is you have to believe in yourself, your service, or your product, and what you're bringing out to the community. And you have to stop dabbling. Stop reading ClickFunnels, expert secrets. Stop reading traffic secrets, and only relying and thinking that that is the way that you're going to be successful. It is a framework, it's a process, it's a system. Those designs, we get into this funnel hacking mode where you believe that your button's got to be like their button and their copy's got to be like your copy. That is just a framework. As soon as you can remember and learn that what you're learning throughout that process is just a framework to help you in your individual business, and then test. And when you think you've got it right, test again. And when you think you have it right, you even test again. And eventually what's going to happen is you're going to find your sweet spot. For some people, that sweet spot may be 6 months down the road, maybe a year down the road, maybe 3 years down the road. Before we hit our 2 comma on this individual funnel, we were 3.5 years into this funnel. So I love to say that we've got the award for the slowest 2 comma award. Doesn't matter how long it takes you to get there, baby, as long as you actually get there. Now our business is in a position where we're doing about $75,000 to $100,000 a month. We're looking to scale above and beyond that, putting systems in place in order to do that. But trust me, I saw this 3 years ago. I believed in what I was doing, my product and my service, and I tested and made thousands and thousands and thousands of mistakes. But the most important thing is I didn't give up. So all that hard work and all that struggle and all those sleepless nights wondering if I need to walk away from the security of a real job, yes, it's all paid out. So now we're living debt-free in Florida. House is paid for. All the cars are paid for. We owe nothing to nobody, nothing. Banking $75,000 to $100,000 a month. Life couldn't be sweeter. But it all starts with that initial belief system, and you have got to go 100% all in.
Yeah, very interesting point there where I think the frameworks exist, and the frameworks are there for you pretty relatively cheaply to start out with the online business, or not even just an online business, just the frameworks are available, but you need to kind of differentiate and take those frameworks and make it your own and just keep at it. Do you believe that people give up on the idea too quickly?
Beyond a shadow of a doubt, I watched the ClickFunnels form continuously, and people see as an adult, when we are children, we do not understand failure. If you're a Girl Scout or you're a Boy Scout and you're selling popcorn or you're selling cookies, you're hitting everyone on the way in. Hey, mister, hey, mister, hey, mister, hey, mister. But you're not thinking that you're failing when that person says no. But as an adult, if we try something, if we're not as successful with it as we wish that we were, we often like to throw in the towel and say, well, that didn't work. Thomas Edison didn't say that he made a light bulb instantly. He found 10,000 ways that did not work. So beyond a shadow of a doubt, people jump into this game with unrealistic expectations. They're undercapitalized, and more importantly, their mindset is not where it needs to be. You got to get your mindset right to begin with. If your mindset is correct, then the other stuff can follow. You don't look at everything as a failure. You look at it as an opportunity to learn and to grow. So if you try something and it's not as successful as you want, you look and you evaluate, what could I have done different? And then you tweak and you test, and then you do it again, and then you tweak and you test, and then you find your sweet spot. So many entrepreneurs out there say they want to be an entrepreneur, but the truth is this: most people are unhappy about their life or an aspect about their life, but they're not unhappy enough to do something about it. You need that hunger. You need that drive. You need that person that is sick and tired of being sick and tired. There's a story that I share with my salespeople all the time. There's an old man or a salesperson that comes to a door, and the old man answers it. And in the background, the salesman's giving his pitch, and there's this dog in the background, and the dog's just howling. Oh, oh! And the salesperson says, "Hey, what's wrong with your dog?" Old man says, "I don't worry about it. He's just sitting on a nail." He ignores the conversation. Time goes on a little bit. Dog's howling again in the background. Oh, mister, I think something's wrong with your dog. He goes, "Don't worry about him. He's just sitting on a nail." What happens the third time? The guy goes, "Listen, something's wrong with your dog." He goes, "I told you already. He's just sitting on a nail." Salesperson says, "Well, why doesn't he move?" Well, old man looks at him and goes, "Well, I guess it don't hurt bad enough yet." So you've got to be in a position in your life where you're not going to take no or failure as an excuse. When you decide that you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, that's when the beginning of your life takes off. And it's going to be a bumpy road. I've seen those guys that hit their 2 Comma Club in 6 months. I'm like, I cheer them on. I like the ones that hit it in 3 years like me. It doesn't matter how long it takes to get there, as long as you get there. I hope that helps.
Yeah, I think it's very true with I think the problem is that people are comparing, they're comparing their road to someone else's road. And they're always saying, it's easy to show the highlight reel, but no one's showing, when it's winter in someone else's life, that's not really exposed. And that's the problem, is that, as you said, one person does it in 6 months and the next one in 3 years. As you said, it doesn't matter. The road forward for you is completely different to the next guy. So
it is, beyond a shadow of a doubt.
So I love to know, like, everybody, you said it took 3.5 years to become an overnight success, because no one sees the sweat and tears behind the scenes and sees the beautiful 2 Comma Club on stage. How many funnels were involved in that process, or was it one funnel that just kind of kept tweaking along the way?
One funnel kept tweaking along the way. You gotta understand your messaging, and that's one of the big mistakes people make as well. Is they start a funnel, oh, that's not working, and they go to another funnel. Oh, that's not working, go to another funnel. One funnel, one product, one solution, tweak your messaging. When I say, you mentioned that everyone sees the highlight reel, no one sees the sweat and tears. I'm a real estate agent. Well, I was a real estate agent, now I'm in coaching. But I walked away from a very substantial income. And I went to my wife after being involved in the internet marketing business. I was been following Russell Brunson since before Russell was Russell. Back in the early days, I had a little bit of a glimpse with an online product that I had a little success with. I made like $18,000 overnight on a product that I did, and I was instantly hooked. But I chased that high for years, and I got frustrated. I couldn't really figure it out. So I focused all my energies in real estate. Well, I got burned out in real estate, making well over $500,000 a year in real estate, but it burnt me out. And for me, it really wasn't about money. It was about time freedom. So right around that time, Russell Brunson was launching ClickFunnels. And I initially got in, and Russell, if you watch this video, sorry, your product sucked to begin with. But he kept tweaking it, and he made it better. And then I'm like, okay, this is pretty good stuff. And I wanted to reallocate myself and re-indoctrinate myself in the industry. So what I did is I signed up for my first Funnel Hacking Live. And so I went to that event, being a newbie, basically, because I've been out of the industry for about 4 years. And to my surprise, there's this young man that was there. His name is Dan Henry. And he had these bunny ears. And everyone's giving all this guy all this attention. And I'm thinking to myself, who is this guy? I don't know who this guy is. So that evening, day one of Funnel Hacking Live, I went to my hotel room and I Googled him. I found his webinar. He was offering a $997 product. I literally walked away from that webinar thinking, who's buying this for $997? Well, lo and behold, the next day they're handing out 2 Comma awards. And here comes Bunny Ears hopping across the stage. And I looked at myself in like from a third party view, and I said, you know what? If that guy can do it, I can do it. So I walked away from that event, came home, told my wife, I said, I'm 1,000% all in. I'm not doing real estate no more. I'm 1,000% going to do this funnel. Now, we almost lost our rear end because every month I'm like, this is going to be the tweak. This is going to work. And this is a story that I don't share with too many people, but because of your show and the type of people that are probably watching this, I want to give them a little bit of encouragement. So we literally were down to our last $5,000. And where we were living in Tennessee, I've always wanted to move to Florida. And I looked at my wife. I said, hey, I'm going to make this internet thing work. And let's move to Florida. She goes, well, hell, why not? So we drive down, we look at a community. We gave our last $5,000 as a down payment on a new construction build. Kid you not. Went home, probably had $300-400 in the bank, struggling every day to make sales, hustling. And 3 weeks after we put that contract in, I do a large webinar. And I told my wife, I said, this is going to be it. This is going to sound like BS, but this is really what happened. We were selling furniture out of the house for 2 reasons. Number one, we needed the cash because we didn't spend all our cash on the house. And number two, I didn't want to move it to Florida. So I launched this webinar. And as I'm on the webinar, I'm pumping up music. I'm ready to rock this thing. While the webinar is going on, I have people at my house carrying out my bedroom furniture. My wife peeks her head in the door and goes, hey, I'm going to the store. I'll be back in a few minutes. When she came back, she poked her head in the door and she goes, how did you do? I made $38,000 up front on that webinar, cash, and $120,000 in contracts, pay plans. So I made 150 grand on that one webinar. So then we moved to Florida. We kept tweaking, and then COVID hit. COVID was the best thing that ever happened to me because I got to 100% focus in on my business. I wasn't distracted by anything, and I had more and more agents that were going online looking for a solution. So we kept tweaking, and then we had a couple more $30,000, $40,000 webinars, and then we got the messaging perfect. We got the price point perfect. And then starting about September of last year, we've been doing $75,000 to $100,000 a year, a month continuously. So that gave us enough cash to pay off the house, pay off all the debt, and now we're 100% debt free. But none of that would have happened if I didn't say all in.
Yeah, that's wow, what a cool story. I love that it was, I mean, it was a few days away from nothing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Unbelievable. So was it was a webinar that kind of started it all for you, that made the big money? It was a webinar funnel?
It was a webinar, but everything changed when I switched to high ticket. Let me tell you what I wanted to do. At least it didn't work for me. Okay, there's a whole shift in the industry. So Dan was doing the $997 webinar. I hired Dan as a coach. I made some sales, but that I was struggling. I did not want to get on the phones because as a real estate agent, I pretty much lived on the phones, and I was trying to, I'm done with that. But then I saw Dan Henry do a high ticket funnel, and he made $1 million in one day. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Again, I'm like, if he can do it, godly, what the heck is holding me back? So I switched my model from Facebook ad to webinar to a sell to Facebook ad to a webinar to a phone call. And then I started doing the phone calls, running through a PowerPoint presentation, and that's when everything switched. So I did the one thing that I was trying to avoid doing but it is the one thing that was holding me back all these years. I should have been doing it from day number one. So if someone says, hey, should I do webinar, automated sales, or should I do high ticket? High ticket's your answer. So if you want to go broke, do the webinar program. See, the problem is when you're doing a 997 offer, what's your cost for client acquisition? I mean, you can be $400 or $500 in client acquisition to get that, so you're only netting $400 or $500. Have a high ticket product, $3,000 or up, you can absorb those advertising costs. Yeah. So that's, for me, that's what made the huge difference when I decided to go switch from automated everything, sit back and not do anything and collect money, to let me work in my business and talk to people and help them with their individual problem and make offers. So that the second person that influenced me was Billy Jean. I'm not sure if you know who that is.
Yes.
Yeah. So I went to several Billy Jean's live conferences, studied all this stuff. And the one thing that I learned from Billy Jean was that you're not asking enough people to buy your blank. So I'm like, okay. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm not making enough offers. So I went from doing the webinar to making at least 6 to 8 offers per day of people to buy my stuff. And as of right now, at least last month, I have an 80% close ratio. So I'm looking to bring on some more closers right now and scale up, because we're looking to get to $150,000 to $200,000 a month. Now, initially, when I started this funnel, that was like so far-fetched. I mean, I could even think about doing that. If I made $3,000 for the month, I'm like happy. Yeah. You know, now we're literally averaging, $8,000 to $10,000 a day. Yeah. But it all started with my mind shift, my mind shift changing from trying to have the easy road to jumping in and actually working on my business and taking phone calls.
Well, also seeing, as you said, as soon as someone else does it, I mean, I always refer to the Roger Bannister and the 4-minute mile. It's the same thing. As soon as someone else does it, it's a great switch for. Coming back to where you said that you weren't making enough offers. Is that different offers or just the same offer to more people?
Same offer to more people. Yeah, the same offer more people. Now, the offer's been tweaked along the lines. I've improved the offer, added to it, increased pricing, but it was generally the same offer the entire time. I just wasn't asking enough people. That's the beauty behind sales, because if you ask enough people, the numbers will work themselves out. You just want to get to a point where you don't have to ask as many people to make the same number of sales, right? So, you have to have eyeballs on your product. You have to have traffic. You have to have people looking at your offer. So once you perfect that process, then it's just a numbers game. Now, in the high ticket world, if you're closing 30 to 40%, you're pretty much a rock star. And if you take a spreadsheet out and you do the numbers on that, if you've got a $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 offer and you're closing 30 to 40%, you're making some money. So to get that higher than that, then you're just, you're more than a rock star. So just work those numbers out, make more offers every single day, and then the numbers will plan themselves out. And the more you make offers, the better you'll get, the better smoother you'll get, the more closes you'll actually have. And it all starts with that, making those offers every single day.
So if someone came to you today starting out, that's the avenue you would take, webinar to high ticket.
Yes.
And it's that, because I see a lot of people overcomplicating it. I mean, we obviously speak to clients and they add upsell and downsell and then rearrange it. And this, I mean, it's just that's specifically why I wanted to ask. It's just,
guilty.
It can be so simple.
Guilty. I wanted all that. Upsells, downsells, I all that. I had a whiteboard drawn out with darn blocks everywhere on my wall. If they do this, then this happens, and this email takes off, and this automation takes off, and blah 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 blah. And I'm not saying that it doesn't work for nobody. I'm sure it does.
Well, but eventually, you just stuck in a maze. You don't know how to get out.
Yeah, just simplify it. The ugly funnels win the best, believe it or not. I like graphics. I'm a heavy graphic guy. It was everything within my nature not to build an ugly funnel. Yeah. And when I did, I started converting more, and then I realized, do I want a pretty little website, or do I want a money making ATM machine? I wanted a money making ATM machine. So when I simplified things down, and then just did an offer to book a call, everything changed.
And coming back to the design, why do you think that is it more simplicity? Is it more kind of based around what people should be focusing on instead of the pretty stuff?
Yeah, so for me, I felt that the nicer the design, the nicer their graphics, the more response I would get. What I found is the more I made it look commercialized, the less response that I got. So when I just had a very simple funnel, this is who I am, this is who I've helped. If you want help, book a call, then everything really took off from there. So all my funnels are I run what's called a group model. I'll share the strategy with you. So I have a Facebook group. In order to get people into my group, I do lead magnets online. So I'll say, hey, group, hey, target audience, would you like to have this? And they go, yeah, I'd like to have that. They click, it goes to the funnel. The funnel says, hey, you want this? I need you to join my private Facebook group. So they click, they join the private Facebook group, then we have an automation that sends them the lead magnet. But now they're in my world. So I'll get group members anywhere between $2 and $7 each. Now, when they join my group, I pop them for 3 questions. One of the questions is, hey, this is what we're doing. Would you like to know more about it? And then I have about 30 to 40% of people say, yeah, contact me. So when those that say yes, then that information goes to a call center that automatically calls them, gets them on the phone and sets an appointment, and also gets distributed to 3 of my setters to get them on the phone to set a call. So we set an initial 15-minute call. That 15-minute call is a non-sales call. It's really an introductory call. We weed out people that we probably couldn't help. The ones that we think that we could, we'll invite them back to a second call. That second call is a 45-minute call. So basically, we do a two close. And in between the time that they book the first and the second call, we are literally indoctrinating them with video testimonials and PDFs and all kinds of social proof. If they show up to that second call, for the most part, they're already sold. So that's what we figured out, the funnel that worked the best for us. We haven't changed nothing in a year. Because once it started working, we're like, done tweaking, get into sales mode. So we just went 1,000% into sales mode, stop tweaking it. I haven't changed a color, a button, nothing in a year.
That's unbelievable. Yeah, it's fascinating. Hence the questions that came. So, Dwayne, if someone wants to get a hold of you or find out more about you, where's the best place that they can do that?
Yeah, so I don't want people flooding my funnel because that one threw my numbers off. But you can look me up online. I'm very easy to find on Facebook. Just go to facebook.com/MDA coach. That's where you can find me out on there. Look for my name, Dwayne Roberts. I'm on Instagram under Dwayne Roberts. Coach Dwayne Roberts on Instagram. My wife's on there as Coach Amanda Roberts, and of course, I'm on LinkedIn.
All right, cool. We'll drop the links for anybody that wants to see down below. So, is there any last comment you'd wanna kind of leave for the listeners just before we go?
Sure. Don't give up on your hopes, your dreams, and your goals. There is a reason you're playing around with these funnels. There's a reason you're thinking, hey, I want to make this work for myself. Do not compare your success against someone else's. Make sure that you're learning every day. Make sure that you're going 1,000% in on the process. Believe in yourself before anyone else will. And I'll put a side note in here for those who are married and maybe your husband or your wife isn't 1,000% on board with your crazy entrepreneurial self. My wife was kicking and screaming for the first 2.5 years. Trust me, we had more than our fair shares of heated discussions on why I walked away from real estate to do this, because I kept telling her it was going to work. She's got a little bit of a different tune right now, but it took her. She's now active with me in the business. I actually hear her on some sales calls right now, but it took me proving it to her that it was going to work. Should it have? Maybe not. But the point is this: you've got to believe it in yourself first before anyone else is going to believe with you, and be 1000% laser focused, and then stay around the fire. What I mean by that is it's very difficult when you have all this positive energy and you're trying to make things happen. Then you have all the negative in the background that's putting all this junk in your ear, telling you all the reasons it's not going to work. So be in communities like this, in this group, be in other communities, listen and have your ear to the ground with other entrepreneurs who've been there, done that, what you're trying to accomplish. If you can get to an in-person meeting, there's several conferences throughout the year that you can go to. My favorite one, put a plug in for Russell, is Funnel Hacking Live. It's a combination between the Tony Robbins event and an internet marketing conference. It's really good. That's your opportunity to get in front of other people, to network, talk, strategize, learn what other people are doing. And sometimes it'll give you the fuel that you need to be successful. And if you may be doing everything right, but you may need just a 2-degree shift. Now, what I mean by that is those people that play golf, as an example. Sometimes you're on the driving range and you hire a coach. The coach comes out and says, hey, I want you to take your hips and I want you to shift it 2 degrees. Now, for someone that never plays golf, you're thinking, how's that going to make a difference? Sometimes that makes all the difference. Yeah. So you're not going to know what that 2-degree shift is unless you get around the fire and then someone says, hey, do this. And maybe that little 2-degree shift is exactly what you need to be able to catapult you to the next level. So just don't give up on your goals, dreams, and hopes. Keep it first and foremost into your heart and believe in yourself. And once you've done that, other people will start believing in you as well.
Wow, geez. Well, Dwayne, thanks so much for being here and for your time. And geez, that was half an hour jam-packed. So I hope everybody got some value out of it. So appreciate you again. And thanks for coming on. And we'll see you guys next time.
Absolutely. Thanks for inviting me on the show. Bye for now.